Aaron Little Man Montague was a play hard and died hard young man and 26-year-old Little Man suspected on holding the Metro Hall Creek area and a vice grip and flooded the area with drugs and violence and fear. He was killed Monday night when he crashed his car in the rain-slick Germantown Avenue doing a desperate high-speed flight from a team of drug enforcement agents. Officials said Little Man was pronounced dead at the scene after his 1988 5.0 Mustang slammed into a parked panel truck. Shortly before 11 p.m. near Pine Street, and Bill Duvall, spokesman for the district attorney office, said apparently Little Man had a good reason to flee at the anti-drug team. They briefly stopped his car on Germantown Avenue near Rowan Avenue, about 9 blocks from the scene of the crash, authorities said, and they said he had $1 million worth of drugs and a large amount of cash in the vehicle with him. The team and agents in the DA's office and FBI in the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration believe that he had just purchased the drugs from a house on Wayne Avenue on Rowan, and the agents and the Joint the Violent Drug Traffickers Project said they didn't pursue Little Man when he fled. They just went to discover the 10 kilos of cocaine and cash from the car after he crashed. And a passenger in the car fled on foot in the crack-up. Police said the passenger, Antoine Dix, 26, on Lucknow near 55th and West Philadelphia, is considered armed and dangerous, a source close to the investigation. And also was said Little Man was believed to be the top dog in the ruthless violent drug game based in the area of 40th and Paris Street and Mill Creek. Little Man is also suspected orchestrated several murders and shootings to tighten his blood group in the drug trade in his home turf, and Little Man and his gang was believed to be suspected in order the attack of 4 men who was cut down by a hail of bullets on December, as they said, inside a van on 40th and Girard in West Philadelphia, and 3 of them died. His name came out as of the shot caller and several other homicides, said a senior investigator that Little Man, hungry for riches and power, may have been equal only by his street or good luck. Police said Little Man have been arrested 11 times since 1989 in cases involving drugs, weapons, and aggravated assault, but the most of the cases were dismissed for lack of evidence. Because frightened witness failed to testify. His sentence came in August in 1992, when he was jailed for 6 to 12 months on the 1990 drug bust. He received probation in 3 other cases and was a still open pending trial on his death attempt, and Little Man had been the target of at least 1 attempted murder on his life. So it is said he survived assault, he survived assassination attempts when he was wounded 6 times with an AK-47 rifle. The drug lord had to recover, but it didn't slow him down much, authorities said. Tensions of Little Man empire stretched into parts of North Philly, West Philly, Southwest Philly. He was used to be in the junior Black Mafia, and then he went with Julius Pickens, sources said, and Julius was the one jailed JBM who was shot to death earlier that year, and after Pickens' death it was said Little Man went out on his own and was fighting the younger guys coming up on and around his turf. Everyone that fights with him or go against him would end up dead, or they just keep getting killed, said attorney Daniel M. Preminger, the man who represent Little Man and at least some of his brushes with the law. He said he didn't see his client since 1993 and said he was a quiet family man, and Montague was raised by his mother Viola and grandmother Christine on tiny Shadwick St., a narrow block of 2-story townhouses sandwiched between Fairmount Avenue and Wallace Street. He was the only child. His mother worked hard for the government and his grandma did that they work, but even though the family did not have a lot, he still was spoiled, the neighbor Dorothy Payne said. Paynes, whose younger brother Dougie, 17, in the summer of 1999 around Little Man power was still fresh. Douglas saw a short kid, kept picking on them. Douglas was warning Little Man that he had 4 older brothers who will take care of him. One night, as Douglas Wilbur and another brother were walking down the street past Little Man's house, other kids pulled guns from trash cans in the alleyways, and Douglas was killed by bullets to the chest, and murder charges was dismissed against Little Man for the lack of evidence, and Wilbur Peanut is sure Little Man ordered the hit. Years later, Little Man's grandmother told the writer that she was worried for what happened. In recent years, there were no mistaking that Little Man was a man of power. He brought up properties, several houses on the block, a nightclub on Lancaster Avenue, a hardware store, and a beauty parlor on Haverford Avenue. Gold and diamond custom jewelry and the latest clothes, and he used to send women to Gucci and Fendi shops to shop for him with $15,000 to $20,000, and women kept coming around the block claiming he was the father of their babies. Anything that was new he had it: cars, jewelry, homes, woman, money. He had it all, and this neighborhood belonged to him. Little Man will pay addicts $8 to $20 to wash his car, and even in the rain and snow the addicts will be out there with buckets washing his car. I remember I used to hear rumors about how he's pull up to these concerts where he was a big dog, so while he was a giant, so VIP everywhere he goes, so they said it was a rumor when Mary J. Blige first came out he pulled up on her with her trunk full of money, and the rest was history. She got and he took her wherever he took her. I used to always hear in the neighborhood about how he's used to chill with all the big rappers and R&B singers like Teddy Riley and other rappers, and they used to come around, and Little Man sometimes ain't even have time for them, and he would be like, "I got things to do right now." This guy was a giant, top dog, boss of bosses. And I remember another time, it had to be around, 1995 or 96, on 46th and Market Street, when Naughty by Nature and Public Enemy was having a concert, and Little Man pulled up. And when he walked in that concert, when I tell you all eyes was on him, and it's back then when JBM and all the other gangs and was big in Philly, but when I'll tell you, man, this guy the flyer than them all. He had 2 Jeep Cherokees, one white with a red rag top and gold rims, and one gray with a black rag top with chrome deep dish rims, and a silver Cadillac Alante, and many, many more cars. Lit was the man and the leader of the Bottom Boys gang from down the bottom of West Philly, and no wonder why he left the JBM and started his own gang, because when I say he was the flashiest and the coolest out of all of other kingpins that I know of, this guy coming to the concert with a purple pill, and he had his daughter picture on the back of it airbrushed with rhinestones, and I think it said Daddy's Little Girl on it. This guy had on some alpinos or purple and pink lens in his Porsche's glasses, I believe, but one of the two, because they was both his favorites' glasses, and he left in a white 600 Benz coupe with white or red leather interior, and that thing was nice, and him and Little Reese, these guys was like celebrities, and would hear these crazy stories about Little Man, and they need to make a movie about this guy. Now really they need to make a movie about Litz. Like I seen him pull the gun out on a cop and ready to shot, but I don't know why he didn't or why they didn't shoot him, but they didn't, but they did kicked him in the mouth as they pick him up off the ground, locking him up. Then his mother came out the house with a bankroll in her hand. It looked like it was around 10 grand, and you can hear her say, "I'm going to get my baby out and he'll be out in an hour." I never seen a kingpin like this guy. He was just different and something like out of a Hollywood movie. He was a major drug lord and a giant and a boss of bosses, and like I said, I never seen another kingpin or drug dealer like this guy. Rest in peace, Aaron L Montague, aka Litz, aka Little Man.